Loktargar friends, hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another Orc Mode workout, and today was max effort squat day. But just a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please click like down below. It's all that I ask of my viewers. The overwhelming majority won't do it no matter how much I ask, but it's all I ask. If you reach down there and click like, if you watch these vlogs, right? If you enjoy them, if you learn anything from them. So let's hop over to the training. I went back and just messed with the buffalo bar today. What I'm going to do for my max effort squats, I'm just going to do a couple different chain and band weights. I'm going to stick with everything with this 11-inch box to work the deep box. And we're going to use the 3 different bars. We're going to use a straight bar, we'll use a safety squat bar, we'll use a buffalo bar. And we'll count them all as separate lifts because they are all slightly different. And if you guys notice, I'm taking a wider grip on the bar. I want to work with learning to use that wider grip, mainly because it'll let me be safer on my shoulders with the buffalo bar. Less irritation of them, things like that, because I'm really trying to focus on, while I'm doing all this training, of making sure that I keep minimal irritation in my shoulders so that I can keep focusing on my bench press the way that I want. And that's what a lot of these bars were designed for and are used for by a lot of elite lifters, is that purpose, right? Being able to maintain shoulder health while doing all your squatting. And that's one of the main perks of this particular bar. And I went ahead and I got a pretty good lift today. This one was a little tough. Was 482 off of the 11-inch box plus 67 pounds of chains. Now, some people will say, well, you've hit that before or more than that on the 12-inch box. Yeah, but that extra inch makes a world of difference. And again, I'm really trying to focus on taking that wider stance, getting a wider grip on the bar, and really working the wide stance squats, and particularly on the deep box so that I can hit that depth later raw. I need to be able to get below parallel with that ultra wide stance, and I'm going to keep working those wider stances the best that I can. The speed work will be the most practice for it, and then we'll get a max every 2 weeks because we'll rotate it with my deadlifts, and we'll do a lot more sumo deadlifting for all the max effort work, sumo variations, block pulls, deficits, chains, bands, whatever we have to do. But everything is going to be wide stance, everything is going to be box squat for all the max work. And the same thing for even the speed work, because again, I've got to get strong at those wide angles. Now, that being said, that means that we need a lot more posterior chain work and we need a lot more T-spine work, because the ability to keep my upper back up with that heavy weight matters. And you guys notice when I started hitting that heavy weight at the top, when those chains added up, I did struggle a little bit keeping my spine upright, especially with that wider grip. But I'm going to work on that. And if I develop my T-spine enough, which all the safety bar work will help with. So we're doing all these safety bar good mornings, and I want to get as strong as I can at these 4 10-rep sets. All right, ideally I want to be able to do these with at least 225 for sets of 10 with the safety bar, which is mean I have to do a little bit of supplemental work for my neck, which I do on my off days, my restoration days. And again, I want that to be made very, very clear. That's not what you guys are thinking of as full neck training, which I have been very critical of for obvious reasons. It should be common sense at this point based upon what medical doctors have said. If you're not a combat athlete at risk of concussions, don't do all the angles of your neck. Don't do it. I train just the neck extensions to help with the safety bar because it presses super hard on my neck, gives me headaches. And it's helping. It's still uncomfortable, but it's helping tremendously. So that's something that I need to do, and I need to do tons of safety bar work. No matter how much people will say, well, you know, potentially you're not getting as much leg development. There's a small risk of that with a safety bar. Yeah, in theory, but I know I need the upper back. I know that I have to have that for my big lifts. I have to have it for my squatting. And it will help with the deadlifting also. And it seems to be helping, seems to be working pretty well at this point. So we're going to continue with it. But that's going to be important to what I'm doing. Doing most of my speed squats with the safety bar for now. Doing my good mornings with the safety bar. I mean, I wish the other stuff would give me everything that I want. Because I really hate the safety bar. I dislike it. But it may be a necessary evil. And I think eventually the discomfort of it, as I continue to build that weak area up, and I do the neck training to make my neck handle it better, I think it's going to get less and less discomfortable, right? Because that's the reason I don't like it. It's so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. Almost to the point of painful, what I should say. And that's one of the things that causes us to not like a lot of lifts, isn't it? When lifts bring out weaknesses so bad that they're uncomfortable and they're very, very difficult and awkward for us, when it's stuff that other people can do, what does that tell you? It tells you that it reveals a weakness. And what is it that we love to do? We love to work on the things that we're good at and ignore the things that we're bad at. Okay? I know, based upon my weaknesses, that all this safety bar work and the upper back work will make me much, much stronger. I don't like to do it, and I've largely tried to avoid it and hoped I could do other stuff to get around it. But you know what, at the end of the day, it's what I need to do, and I need to just man up, dig in, and do it. So I am. And hopefully over time, as I build the weak areas up that the safety bar really brings out, maybe it will become not comfortable, but less uncomfortable. Right? That's what we have to do. And then we did our rows today. I don't have any chalk on my hands, so these were a hair harder because I didn't deadlift today. Normally, if I just leave a lot of the liquid chalk on my hands when I do the max deadlifts and then come in and do these. Today, didn't do that. So they were a little harder. I had to do a lot more regripping, but that's okay. It's okay. This is a nice heavy weight for me. It's really good grip training right now, and it still works my back, gives me all the benefits of pen lay row. Gives me all the benefits. And for those who don't understand the benefits, well, because it's very, very strict, it's very similar to a chest supported row. But what else do we get? All the isometric training for the posterior chain. Right? We have to contract our posterior chain isometrically. That's what we have to do. That makes us better at deadlifting, for those who don't understand. It'll help us out of the bottom of the deadlift. And this is a hard weight to handle with the axle bar. I mean, it isn't always as pretty as some of my lighter weights when I do higher reps, because 10s are very, very hard with this, and a lot of it has to do with the awkward grip. But the grip improvements this has given me are undeniable. They're absolutely undeniable. Axle bar pulls in general will build your grip, in addition to the other grip work I do. And I need to keep doing that. This is where specialty bars come in handy. As much as I might love a standard bar, I would tell most people could get everything they need out of a standard bar. These specialty bars bring a lot to the table, and we're seeing examples right here. That safety bar really helping me bring up the upper back. You know, a lot of people would say, well, does everyone need that? Well, no, not everyone is strong enough to need that. I got to a 500 squat just fine without needing any of this specialty work. I got my deadlift up into the high 500s without needing the axle bar work for extra grip and all the extra grip training. But without this stuff, I'm not going to reach my bigger goals, right? I've got the 615 deadlift, but I need to get to 650 now, and then higher, right? We know the upper back is really limiting my squats and my stance, obviously, which we're working on. So we need to strengthen that. How else am I going to get to a 600? You know, we have to be willing to address these weaknesses. And these specialty bars really give me a lot of tools to do that. They give us a lot of tools. They're not necessary. They're just very, very helpful. Because otherwise you're going to have to come up with more innovative ways to train these weak links. But I think the point to be made there is that, you know, people might say, well, am I doomed if I don't have these? No, you're not doomed. We just have to be more creative. You have to accept that certain weak links are going to be harder to fix. But I think the difference that it needs to be highlighted for a lot of my people here, all things considered, when we start thinking about my age category, kind of body weight I'm at, guys who are at my strength are relatively rare. And I don't just mean in general. I'm talking regular gym goers. I'm talking about guys even trying to do powerlifting. Not that common. They exist, and there's guys stronger than me. There aren't that many of them. So it's relatively rare. So my needs are going to be a little more specialized. So let that be a reassurance to a lot of you that you don't have to have these tools. They're helpful to have. Then we got to the reverse hypers. We went up 10 pounds today. And it was a little more challenging, but it didn't just destroy me. It didn't destroy me. I'm getting used to it. And, you know, a lot of people want to argue about what I'm doing with these, and that's fine. This is the way Louis Simmons prescribes it. He's the inventor of it. He has tons of lifters do it. This is how he has his guys do it. And then people get argue about for certain things, trying to hold it at the top, not using the momentum. But you know what? I'm getting a very, very profound training effect doing it this way. Right? Yes, I'm forced to use a heavy weight. And yes, I'm going to continue to add weight, because I'm up to 360 right now. And that was the goal for today, to try to get all 5 sets of 25 reps with this. And I got like 26 reps or 27 on the last set. So we hit the target numbers. And again, the training effect is very, very pronounced. It's not just mild. It's not just like, oh, you feel a little bit. No, it's enormous. The effects you feel in your erectors, glutes, hamstrings, you feel them all separately. It definitely works. And the goal, you guys know, is for me to get to 425 on this for sets of 25. And we're going to get there one step at a time. And when I get there, my strength should be where it needs to be. As long as the grip and everything else can keep up, my deadlift strength should be where it needs to be. Going to help me with the squats, because again, we're doing the wide stance squats. I need the posterior chain to be as strong as possible. And the thing that needs to be pointed out with those, of course, this is all the supplemental stuff to build me up there. All the speed work actually plays a big role there, because we're doing all that stuff for really, really wide stances. So it's a lot more specific. But this is building up all the support musculature, all the other possible weak chains. It's a very effective tool for that. If people were to say what's one piece of equipment I would recommend they have for their home gym, this is it. This is it. If you wanted one specialty device outside of all your barbells and pads and things like that, because I've told a lot of people that's what you need. Make sure that you have a rack, a bench, good bar, plates, those EVA foam pads, and a bench block, right? That would let you run full conjugate. If you needed another major purchase, it would be this. And there are people out there who are like, I don't know, I'm not sold on that. It's okay. If you're asking for my advice, though, this is what I'm going to tell you. Right? This is what I'm going to tell you. You can disagree all that you want, but I see a difference, and I think over time, as I continue to get stronger and continue to do so, hopefully injury-free, that'll be a selling point for this. It'll be a selling point for this. And when you understand the device and you understand how it works and you've actually trained with it, you'll understand. It just produces a unique training effect that nothing else seems to be able to do. It's that ability to put you into traction while still doing all of this. It's phenomenal. I'm not saying the muscle groups themselves can't be worked other ways. It's working it while putting you in that traction. And it's just the sheer amount of training volume that you can get with it. And things like your glutes, I don't feel them like that on anything else. Then I did, just to finish off my biceps, what I did yesterday, but added weight. And yes, I know trying to use the football bar is awkward, but I only have that one set of dumbbells and I need more weight for the hammer curls. And that's fine. This works the movement pattern that I want, even if it's a little awkward. Even if it might not feel ideal, it's still giving me the training effect I want in the muscles that I want. So I'm just going to do some sort of hammer curl pretty much at the end of all my workouts, since I row on all of them. And this will again help my rowing, because my arms tend to be a weak link on a lot of things, including that. And again, these are good because it shows me up here standing doing this, and people can see how the body fat's going to go over the next couple weeks, the fat loss. Or months, because it's going to be longer than that, I suspect. Because again, I have at least 13 more pounds to drop before we even assess anything and figure out how much further to go from there. I'm only down 2 pounds. So, you guys can watch it all real time. There's my accountability, right? There's my accountability. You can watch it. We don't need any more accountability. It's like all my training is vlogged. You guys will see me shirtless multiple times a week. Just don't look at old footage like informative videos and think that that's current, because it never is. Those are oftentimes the footage is 5-6 weeks old by the time you guys see those videos. These are dated. But it was a good workout. I'm happy with it. Happy with the max squat. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.